Hi guys, good morning. Hope you all are doing well and good. So far we have discussed three parts of this prose, Bepin Chowdhury's Lapse of Memory. Today we are going to discuss the conclusion part of this chapter. Come, let's see a small recap of the first three chapters. After that, let us move to the fourth chapter. So the story so far, Bepin was kind, humble and very shy person. He never had any problem with his memory. But after meeting these three people, that is Parimal Ghosh, Dinesh Mukherjee and Shanilal, he was dead sure that there was something wrong with his memory. How could he possibly forget a major incident, that is a trip to Ranchi? So he was thinking all those things. And once he confirmed that he had been to Ranchi and he forgot all about these things, he was completely taken back and he was shocked that he forgot about such thing. So even he consulted his doctor, a young physician named Paresh Chanda. So the doctor who prescribed him medicines, and he also advised him to go to Ranchi and try to recall some incidents which took place in October 58. So according to the doctor's advice, Bepin booked a ticket to Ranchi the next morning. So he called his office, gave instructions, and then he is ready to move to Ranchi through the train. So this is what we have discussed in the previous part. So in today's session, we will be dealing with different questions. Okay, what happened to him in the Ranchi and how did he feel and what conclusion he came to after coming from Ranchi. So this is what we are going to see in this part. Come, let's move on to the fourth part, that is concluding part. Getting off the train at Ranchi next morning, he realized at once that he had never been to Ranchi at all. So he came out of the station, took a taxi and drove around the town for a while. He realized that the streets, the buildings, the hotels, bazaar and the Morbody hills, with none of these things had a slightest acquaintance. That is, he felt that he is seeing those things for a first time. So later he thought that will a trip to Hudru Falls would help, like that he thought. And he just want to go there because he should not have a feeling that he hadn't tried enough. So he arranged a car to move to Hudru Falls in that afternoon even. So at 5 o'clock the same afternoon in Hudru, two Gujarati gentlemen from a group of picnickers discovered that Bepin Babu lying unconscious beside a boulder. Boulder, a big rock stone. Okay, so nearby that Bepin Babu was lying unconscious. When he came around, the first thing Bepin Babu said was, "I am finished. There is no hope." So now what Bepin is thinking? He had been to Ranchi but he couldn't remember anything. So this is what the feeling that he had. Okay, so he thought that he is going to forget everything soon. That's why he was too worried. So the next morning, Bepin Babu was back in Calcutta. He realized that there was truly no hope for him. Soon he could lose everything. So he is thinking that he could not work. He is losing his confidence, his ability and his balance of mind. Soon he is going to end up in a asylum. Like that, Bepin is thinking. He thought that he is not mentally ready for anything. Mentally, he is unstable. Like that, Bepin thought of himself. So back home, he rang up Dr. Chanda and asked him to come over. Then, after a shower, he got into a bed with the ice bag clamped on his head. What does mean by clamped? Camped means fixed. Okay. So just then the servant brought him a letter which someone had left in the letter box. So a greenish envelope with the name in the red ink on it. So above the name it is said urgent and confidential. Confidential is secret. Okay. In spite of his condition, Bepin Babu had a feeling that that is, he have to go through that letter. So he tore and opened the envelope and took out the letter. So this is what he read. Dear Bepin, I had no idea that affluence would bring about the change of kind in you that it has done. Was it so difficult for you to help out an old friend down on his luck? I have no money, so my resources are limited. What I have is imagination, a part of which I used in retribution of your unfeeling behavior. Well, you will be all right now. A novel I have written is being considered by a publisher. If he likes it enough, it will meet me through the next few months. Yours, Sanilal. So, what happened now? So, Bipin Babu was never been to Ranchi at all. It is all a trick that has been played by Sanilal, his childhood friend, because Bipin was in a big position where he would have helped him, but he didn't do so, or he would have given some money. He didn't do anything. Just think, he is working in a big company where he is in a high position. He has no family at all. He is living alone. So why can't he help his friend? Thinking all those things, this Sanilal had did this to his own friend. Do you think what Sanilal did is correct? So we can't say whether Sanilal is right or not because it depends upon our opinion. One side, if we see what he did was correct. So he want to bring his own friend in a right way. That's what he did. In the other side, it is Bipin's money. It is Bipin's his own wish to give or to not to give. So we couldn't say anything. Anyway, here this is the story. Now there arrives Dr. Chanda because Bipin Babu called him, right, that he want to meet him like that. He called before reading this letter. So now Dr. Chanda is here. So he is asking Bipin Babu what happened. So Bipin just said, I'm fine. It all came back as soon as I got off the train at Ranchi. Like that Bipin is saying to Dr. Chanda. Chanda was surprised and said, a unique case. So he said that he will be writing about it in this medical journal. So this is what happened. Later, Bipin said that he called Dr. Chanda here because he had a fall in Ranchi in Hudru Falls. So he is having a pain in the hip. So he called Dr. Chanda there to prescribe a painkiller for him. Like that, Bipin is managing the situation because he don't want, that is Bipin don't want to know the outsider that his own friends had tricked upon him. So he managed the situation by saying all those things. There the story comes to an end. This was an amazing story, right? And interesting also. The suspense is out only at the end of it. So the entire story we kept on thinking and believing that there must be something wrong about Bipin Babu and his mental condition was degrading. But only at the end we realized that nothing was there. It's just a trick played by his own friend Sanilal. So what is the moral of the story? What did you learn from this story? So whenever a person is in need, you have to help them. Otherwise, something may come to you in some other way. Okay, so whenever you find someone struggling, just whatever help you could do, just do it for them. Okay, so here the story ends. So let us move on to the comprehension check. So in the previous class, I said that we will be discussing about Part 3's comprehension check, right? So I have given here. So who was Sanilal? What did he want from Bipin Babu? So Sanilal was Bipin Babu's schoolmate. So he had been having a rough time lately and had been coming to see Bipin Babu for a job. So Bipin know that he could not do much help for Sanilal. So however, Shani kept turning up to his house like a bad penny often. So this is the answer for this. Now let us see the next question. Why was Dr. Chanda puzzled? What was unusual about Bipin Babu's loss of memory? So Dr. Chanda became puzzled after listening to Bipin Babu's lapse of memory. He mentioned that this medical condition was typically outside his field of experience. So Bipin Babu's case was little complex because he remembered everything related to his past except for his Ranchi trip. So hence Dr. Chanda suggested him to visit Ranchi to try recollecting any bygone incident that might remind him of the past. So here we have discussed answers for Part 3 Comprehension Check. Let's move on to Part 4 Comprehension Check. Had Bipin Babu really lost his memory and forgotten all about the trip to Ranchi. So perhaps no. Bipin Babu did not have any lapse of memory or forgotten all about a trip to Ranchi. From the letter sent by Sanilal, it was evident that he played a trick on Bipin Babu, who didn't help him to get a job somewhere. So this is the truth. So second question, you are going to write it in classwork, guys. So I'll be giving the answer for that in the upcoming slide. See, so today you're going to write classwork, put today's date, don't forget it, write Unit 4 Prose, Bipin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. The first Roman letter is synonyms. So I have given a question here. You have to find the answer with the dictionary. You're just going to write the meaning for the given words. I have given 10 words here. Just go through it properly and write it in the classwork one by one. So write it neatly. Any of your handwriting is not at all good. Better practice properly. Utilize this time. Okay. Now let's move on to the second Roman letter. So answer the following. The first question is, what was Bipin Babu's hobby? What would he do every Monday? So his hobby was reading books, right? So every Monday he goes to Kalicharan bookshop to buy books. So here I have given answers. See, many of you are writing your own answers. It's good, but make sure that you are writing it without a mistake. Let's move on to the second question. What type of man was Bipin Babu? So he was a loner. He's not at all a good mixture. He had a few friends. He don't spend time in idle chat. So you have to write it properly. In your own view, you can write a different answer also. Now let's move on to the third question. What was wrong with Bipin Babu? What did Dr. Chanda suggest him? So he was completely forgotten about his trip to Ranchi. So Dr. Chanda suggested him to go to Ranchi once again in order to get back his lost memory. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth question. So fourth question is, why do you think Sanilal did what he did? Sanilal says he has no money. What is it that he does have? So this is the question we have seen in the comprehension check. Okay, so here I have given the answer. So Sanilal had plotted the entire incident because Bipin Babu had never helped him to get a job and he was completely penniless. As Bipin Babu never helped him, he wanted to punish him by rekindling a haunting memory of his fall near Choudhury at Ranchi. So Sanilal might not have a job or money, but he had a strong imaginative power which he felt would help him to fight the ill phase of his career. Hence, he wrote a novel which is being considered by a publisher and he is hopeful that it would give him a source of income. I told you, right, Bipin is often fond of reading books. So he said that is Sunny said that in his letter he will meet him in few months, right? Next few months. So he will meet him through his book. That is what he meant there. Now let's move on to the next question. That is the last question. Who was Sanilal and what is his role in the story? So you have to give your own answer for this question. Those who are not sure about your answers, then you can copy it from this slide. Okay. So Sanilal had once been Bipin Babu's schoolmate. He was facing hard time and looking for a job. He called on Bipin Babu with the hope to get a help, but Bipin even refused to help him or see him. Later, Sanilal confirmed Bipin Babu's visit to Ranchi. He recalled several instances in his support, but Bipin was not convinced. A letter from Sanilal gave such a news that Bipin became alright. The news was Sanilal's novel had been accepted for publication, that he would have get handsome amount. So this is what his role in that story. Write the 5 questions and answers properly in the classwork note and then send it to the given email ID edustar.8@gmail.com. So within today even you have to send. I asked you to send your homeworks, only few have sent, few didn't send at all. So better write and send it so that you can be free once you come to school. Otherwise you know the situation how it will be. So better write, finish it fast and try to send it to the given mail. Okay ma. So thank you. Take care of your health. Bye.